blessings of the day. We thank you for keeping us safe. We thank you for your guiding hand upon our county. We just pray that you would give us grace and help, and Lord, help us to continue to be thankful for the liberty and the freedom that we enjoy here in these United States. Pray, God, that you would give us patience with what is going on with the COVID rules and regulations. We pray that you would give us understanding. At the same time, help us to be vigilant with this illness, that we would all stay safe. And we ask it all in Jesus' name. Everybody said,
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Patience. All right. Mr. Crabtree, could we get a motion to approve the minutes of April 21st?
So moved.
And I'll vacate the chair.
Yeah.
To second that.
Mr. Crabtree.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of request for appropriation transfer of funds,
Are there any questions or comments in regards to item 2? Hearing none,
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Crabtree.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of request for fund transfers,
Questions or comments in regards to fund transfers? Hearing none,
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Crabtree.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of accepting an amended certificate from the Budget Commission,
Are there any questions or comments in regards to the amended certificate? Hearing none,
Motion to accept.
second.
Mr. Crabtree.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of communication from Portsmouth Municipal Court regarding electronic monitoring house arrest invoice,
Are there any questions in regards to item 5? Hearing none,
Motion to approve.
second.
Mr. Crabtree.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of request for appropriation of funds,
Are there any questions or comments in regards to item 6? Hearing none,
Motion to approve.
second.
Mr. Crabtree.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of letter of support for RTI International for bid for EPA Substantial Materials Management Grant application,
Are there any questions or comments in regards to item 7? Hearing none,
Motion to approve.
second.
Mr. Crabtree.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of communication from the Scioto County Sheriff regarding titles for recently purchased vehicles,
Are there any questions or comments in regards to item 8? Hearing none,
Motion to accept.
I'll second.
Mr. Crabtree.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of authorizing the clerk to advertise notices to bidders for 2020 various projects for the Scioto County Engineering Department,
Are there any questions or comments in regards to item 9? Hearing none,
Motion to approve.
second.
Mr. Crabtree.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of approving payments of the regular schedule of accounts for the various funds, moral obligations, and the then and now certificates in the total amount of $238,951.21.
Are there any questions or comments in regards to item 10? Hearing none,
Motion to approve.
I will second.
Mr. Crabtree.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of resolution authorizing the Scioto County Sheriff to enter into a subrecipient grant agreement with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources,
Any questions or comments in regards to item 11? Hearing none,
Motion to adopt.
I will second.
Mr. Crabtree.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of 2020 Marine Patrol Assistance Agreement between the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, Division of Watercraft, and the Scioto County Sheriff's Department,
Questions or comments in regards to item 12? Hearing none,
Motion to approve.
second.
Mr. Crabtree.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of communication regarding a request to be reappointed to the Star Facilities Governing Board,
Are there any questions or comments in regards to the reappointment on item 13? Hearing none,
Motion to approve.
second.
Mr. Crabtree.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of subordination agreement between the Scioto County Board of Commissioners and Carrie Lockhart regarding the CHIP program,
Questions or comments in regards to item 14? Hearing none,
Motion to approve.
I will second.
Mr. Crabtree.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye. Mr. Crabtree, would you have anything additional today
Nothing at this time.
All right. Okay. We're going to open it up to the members of the press. We also want to let everybody know that we have Larry Mullins, our Deputy Director of EMA, in the house today. So he's here to answer, that's right, pump it up, answer any questions that you might have to the general public as well as to the press today. And we will start that process. Brian. Brian's handling all the questions on our Facebook feed today, and while he's preparing there, I will also say that we are on YouTube now. We're posting all of these meetings on YouTube after the meeting, so we are visible in both. Anyone who doesn't really care for Facebook can definitely look on YouTube now.
You are actively on Twitter and Instagram now.
We are. So we are, yes, as well. So
Scioto County C, all lowercase, is where they can find that.
on Instagram and Twitter, right? So we're just about everywhere now. So, all right, Brian, go ahead.
Our first question is going to come from Mr. Scioto. On the agenda, is there truly an active investigation regarding the Sheriff's Department disposal of vehicles? And then he has a second part to his question. Any comment from the mayor or the commissioners regarding only certain types of businesses being allowed to open under Governor DeWine's directive?
On item one, Mr. Shope is with the Soda Voice, by the way. We're trying to make sure we spell that out clearly whenever we get questions so that everybody knows who the individual is, if we know. The first question was in regards to the sheriff vehicles. I'm assuming that is in regards to the ones that are in storage, that are the several that are in storage. Yes, there is. With the state auditor, there is an investigation ongoing. We have not received any communication in regards to where that investigation is. The state auditor, we had asked, because we are in a tough spot right now with these vehicles that have been put out there by the sheriff, because we need to get rid of them. We have a liability issue that has been created here, and we've asked, because we would like to go ahead and move forward with disposing of those vehicles, and the auditor will not comment on where that investigation is, nor will they comment on their need to see the vehicles, which makes it very problematic, because typically during the middle of an investigation, you don't eliminate evidence, you don't sell, you don't do away with stuff. So we're kind of in a quandary here, so we're making a decision here soon on what path we're going to move forward on that as a Board of County Commissioners. The second part was in regards to the most recent statements that were made by the governor yesterday, which are far-reaching. It mentions the continued closure of different entities, and we've done our best to digest what is clear. There's several things that I would have to say are not clear yet. It doesn't mean that he won't clarify in the coming days, but of course those included the schools will stay closed, dine-in, restaurants and bars, of course barber shops and nail salons, and basically personal appearance and beauty businesses is what that is defined as. The older adult daycare services, senior centers, entertainment, recreation, and gyms, that's pretty much all inclusive of, it was very detailed in the order, adult day support or vocational habilitation services and group settings, nursing homes, things like that, as far as keeping those things off limits to people and all of that. So, and then, you know, there really wasn't a whole lot of things that could open. We did get the responsible protocols as to how businesses that are allowed to open, businesses such as, for all intents and purposes, it looks like the courthouse is going to be able to open up quite a bit. Of course, that's been left up to the individual office holders how they want to do that. We've gotten the protocols, and I think from what I can tell, most of the protocols are exactly what's being done by essential businesses already, and trying to do. The lack of PPE makes it very difficult to do what's being asked, and will make it even more difficult moving ahead because of the lack of PPE. My concern is this: we have in Scioto County and across the state of Ohio, because this is not just here, this is everywhere. We have a lot of business owners and their employees that are hurting really, really bad right now. We are very aware that there is a struggle right now in Columbus between the executive branch and the legislature that was bore out in a big way by Larry Householder, the Speaker of the House, yesterday. His statement was very far-ranging, I believe. The legislature feels like they've been ignored. The legislature is the representative of the people. Of course, we have our own representatives up there in State Rep Brian Baldridge and Senator Johnson, but they're being largely ignored in this process. It is not, in my estimation, fair when certain businesses are not allowed to be open, but yet their competitors in larger situations like Lowe's and Walmart and Kroger's, that they're allowed to sell non-essential items. And the concern there is one of the things that we've always done well in our area with, and we're starting to see some of it being lost again, where we saw a lot of it being lost when the big chain stores open. We're starting to see a choke down of those companies again, is that as a result of this, we're going to see a lot of small businesses close, and all we're going to have left is the big box stores that then are going to be able to demand whatever prices they want. So it is a major, major concern. The economic, we're in what is known as an economically depressed area, disadvantaged area, and we made a lot of headway, I believe, a lot of progress in getting our unemployment down and getting people back to work. And a lot of our employers were actually growing at the time before all this happened. And we're going to take a major step backwards here as a result. I looked at the unemployment numbers for this particular, that I just looked at it this morning, a matter of fact, and we got some new numbers. And for our region, the 25-county region of Southern Ohio, mainly under the what's called the APEG region, or they've actually renamed themselves Jobs Ohio region, the southeastern region. Out of 25 counties, there's been 58,000 new unemployment claims. That's out of 1 million people. That may not sound like a lot, but that is a huge amount. In our area, it's about 12% of our workforce is out of work. So, and that would go on top of what was already out of work. So I would have to say that our March, April, May unemployment numbers are going to be very interesting, sad to say the least. But we have people out there that have not got their stimulus checks. We have people out there that have not got unemployment yet. We have business owners that haven't received their 3P loans. We have business owners that don't qualify for 3P loans. We have so many variables out there and so many people hurting. We have business owners that are crying. They are on their last leg. We have to figure out a responsible way to move this economy back open faster. I know that the health and safety is a major, major variable in that, and I believe that those that feel unsafe should stay home and need to stay home, and I think there should be exceptions made for those individuals. I really do. But at the same time, we can't allow our economy to totally crash. We can't. A lot of these jobs are not going to be recreated. They're not going to come back. These business owners are going to fold up. They don't necessarily have to go bankrupt. Some will just choose to close their doors permanently. We need to make sound decisions at the state level to allow businesses to open up in a responsible way. I understand that that is the goal. I see that. But it needs to happen at an accelerated pace, in my estimation. That's my opinion, based upon the fact that we have a low contagion rate here. Southern Ohio as a whole, southeastern Ohio, has had a relatively low number of contagions, and the fact is, some people say, well, we're not testing. That is true, but we're also not seeing the illnesses at the hospital level. We're not seeing the large numbers or the surge that was promised. So with that said, I believe our people are responsible enough, or will be responsible enough with proper education and proper reinforcement, that we can do this in a responsible manner and in a safe manner, and to reduce the risk of those that are at highest risk, our elderly population, our senior population, those with immunosuppression issues in their bodies. We can do this, but I have a very, I have a major reservation, and I know there's going to be people who are upset about what I'm saying and what I've already said. But we can't ignore our business owners, and we can't ignore our workers. Our workers need to get back to work, and we can do it in a responsible manner, and I believe that we can do it in a measured approach. We need that opportunity. We need the ability to do that, and I'm calling on our leaders in Columbus to work hard. I know they're coming back into session on May 4th. I'm calling on them to really call out to the governor and work together to get this open faster. We cannot lose our small businesses. We have few to begin with, and there was many that were thriving and working and doing a great job before all this happened. I believe they can do it just as well now and do it in a safe manner, just as essential workers have done in our county. The essential workers have already done this. Our factory workers have done this. Our county workers have done this. There's many working that have done this already. We need the non-essential to be given the opportunity to do the same. Sir?
I don't have anything.
Okay. All right. Well, I really truly believe that hopefully we can expedite this, and we can do it in a safe manner. So we're calling on our leaders to move quickly on behalf of our workers and our business owners. We need to get people back to work so they have a livelihood left to succeed. All right, Brian?
Another on the agenda, Mark Craycraft, please tell us more about the wording in item number 8.
I'm sorry, say again?
Please tell us more about the wording in item number 8.
Mark Craycraft, Scioto County Daily News. Item 8 was the sheriff, which is the communication. He has sent us a letter with copies of the 9 titles of the cars he bought with the Rotary Fund. If anybody recalls, this was, I don't know how many months ago, he asked for that. And of course, we didn't necessarily agree with the sheriff, but being the Rotary Fund, he is totally within his purvey to do that. He bought 9 new vehicles, and I believe several of those were Tahoes for the detective division, and the rest were Ford Explorers. That's it. We are receiving those titles, basically.
Okay, we have Sin Macklin, Scioto County Daily News.
Okay.
Aside from continuing to prevent the spread of COVID-19, what would you say your top 3 priorities for the county will be moving forward?
Aside from that, I think the first thing is economy. Personally, just me, and I'm sure Mike will have a opinion on this too. Our economy's got to be first. I mean, it really does. We've got to get our businesses opened up. We've got to get, not just open up our current businesses, but we got to expand our business. So I would have to say that Economy, economy, economy. There you go. We've got to get our businesses back open, because the bottom line is if people don't have money, they can't buy, they can't live, they can't succeed. So we need to get our economy open, and it's all about the economy. It really is. It really is. Those would be my top three. Mike?
Well, with what's happened and what the federal government has had to do about, the stimulus money, they have, at this point in time, they've actually supplied over $4 trillion in stimulus money to different, like businesses, actually to the individuals who are below a certain level and everything else. And I know that the amount of money that you're talking about is going to have a tremendous impact on the federal government. The revenues that was lost, I think the first 3 days, or about a week, 3 to 5 days, I think, from casino cash from just the closed casinos in the state of Ohio. And a lot of that revenue goes to the state of Ohio and the counties. I think within that first week there was like $112 million lost. We've been shut down now for about 6 weeks, so you can multiply that by 6 or 8 times. The revenue that the state and federal government and our local governments is going to lose from sales tax revenue and everything else is going to be very challenging for everybody. Unfortunately, what local governments lose, we're going to have to try to rely on our legislators to help us figure out a way to fill the gaps on that. And economically, it's going to be a major disaster for not only the people that have lost their jobs, but for the federal government, the state government, and local governments to do whatever they can. I think we're going to feel the sting of this for a whole lot of years. And the sooner they can get some of the businesses back open, and the sooner that they can get the economy moving again, the better. Because again, I say, like Ben Carson said, if you wait until every bit of the virus is gone, everything else is going to be all gone. And, I don't know that there's a perfect answer for this. I don't think anybody has a perfect answer for it. But I will tell you that it's going to be a very challenging year for the local elected officials and also for the state officials as well.
Okay. Sir?
I feel like you probably already covered everything for this question, but I want to acknowledge that she asked it. Misty Cook Spicer, how does the commissioners feel about the governor's plan to restart the economy? Do you feel like we?
Yeah, I think we covered most of that. Misty Cook Spicer is with WNXT as well as Scioto Voice, I believe, WNXT Radio. I see it as a measured approach. I don't think it's fast enough. And I understand that there's a concern there for people being infected. My concern is that these businesses are running out of time. They are severely running out of time. I've talked to too many owners already that our local chamber as well, our Portsmouth Chamber of Commerce has received multiple calls of business owners that are just, they're right there on the cusp. You can't live on receivables forever. Your receivables will dry up. You can't live on a loan. If your customers are shut down, you can get a loan to pay your employees to keep them there, but there's other debts. You have all kinds of other debts. You have utilities. You have things like that. It's not sustainable. We have to give our business owners an opportunity to get back to work in a safe manner. And I believe that's the trade-off. And I believe in our workers. I believe in our business owners that they will do that, and they'll do it in a responsible way, just like the essential workers have been for weeks now. because of the same reasons. You don't want to be exposed, and but we'll see. You don't want to be overly critical because we're not there. We don't necessarily have access to everything that they are seeing, but we have access to enough material and enough information to see that. Personally, I feel like we could expedite this. I really do, and we need to for the sake of our workers. Anything else?
Melissa, Bill of Justice, is there any way to do something we as a county can have to recognize our 2020 graduating seniors?
Well, I know and I've seen it's been amazing what the schools have been doing individually for their seniors, doing their best to recognize them for their wonderful achievements. It's such a difficult year for them. Someone reminded me yesterday that this class came in when they were born. They came into the world in a very difficult time. It was 9/11. 9/11 happened, and this class is leaving school during a very difficult time as well. I hate it that they can't do what they would normally do. I know some schools are asking the students, would like to wait till June to have a graduation ceremony possibly, to put it off, or do something now, which would be a lot more limited. So I think the schools are doing a pretty good job. Of course, I know that last week they did the drive-through thing where a lot of the schools did to recognize their seniors, which was so great. I think the schools are doing all they can right now, and their parents and of course everybody that's associated with them doing their best to try to recognize them. It's a sad thing. It really is. I hate it for them. All of us remember how much fun it was. Graduation was a big part of our lives. It was something to remember, that's for sure. Some of us were lucky that we got there, right? But we hope that we hope they don't feel shortchanged. I mean, that's the thing. And I know a lot of schools and their administrations are doing their best to try to make them feel good about what their accomplishment's been, and that's to graduate high school. It's a major accomplishment.
Cindy Mackley again. Are we still on track to see priorities from the land bank listed for sale properties now?
Yes, okay.
Listed for sale by the summer? And if not, when can we expect to see the transition into aggressively selling the property?
In regards to the land bank, everything's kind of come to a crawl. Our treasurer for the land bank, who's also our Scioto County treasurer, just made it in for our investment report, but we're kind of at a crawl right now. We haven't had a meeting for a couple months because of the COVID crisis, but we also don't have the extra money to go buy houses right now and take those down. But yeah, when that time comes, we're on schedule to do that. The list of those properties will be made public here very soon, so that people can start putting together their plans on buying those lots. Hopefully we'll be able to sell those, and some of them are in obscure places, that's for sure, but we'll do our best to sell those lots off, and we feel good that we'll be ready to do that. Hopefully give everybody a 30-day notice on that. So I think so, but we'll get that list out. I believe that question was already asked once by Scioto County Daily News for a list of those properties, and we'll get those out. To be honest with you, we've been working with a skeleton staff here lately, and that hasn't been one of the major priorities. I'll just be honest with you, but we'll get that out. We're not able to sell those until the summer, so with it not being a top priority, we haven't got that list out, but we will, we promise.
Molly Cross Burnside, this is not COVID related. Since glass takes over 4,000 plus years, if ever, to decompose, why don't we have a glass recycling bin inside of the county? She called Solid Waste Management District district, and they said the only glass bin is on County Road 1A just after the iron exit, and they don't have plans to put one inside the county.
And that is what we've been told as well by the Waste Management District. I would like to see a glass recycling, but I understand that it is very, very, very expensive to do so. But to date, we haven't been able to get a grant to allow us to be able to do glass recycling. I agree. Sir, how do you feel about glass recycling?
Well, they need to recycle a lot of things, but you know, again, getting a business to do that, you know, can get pretty expensive, and there has to be some kind of profit margin in it to make it sustainable.
That's one of the problems we're having with our recycles now, even just general recycling. Used to be a lot of our recycled materials went to China. Well, they stopped taking it, and recycled prices went so low that you couldn't make enough money back from any recyclables, that it's really hurt a lot of the solid waste districts. Now, what I've heard recently, especially because of the COVID, is the corrugated has went up dramatically, mainly because Amazon and other .coms are doing a lot of delivery. So a lot of boxes are being purchased and a lot of boxes are being used. So corrugated recycling has went up in price, and we understand. I would like to see that as well, but it's becoming more and more of a challenge to do recycling because of the cost.
Mark Craft, please explain how tonight's election results will be unofficial due to more ballots coming in the mail.
Well, I don't know if we want to speak for the Board of Elections. Of course, the Scioto County Board of Elections is a separate entity from the Board of County Commissioners. They're an entity all to themselves, basically, and they act under the purvey of the Secretary of State of Ohio, which is Frank LaRose. And my understanding in talking to one of the board members yesterday was they do intend to have all of the ballots counted tonight that have come in. They have a machine, just as they did for years. They just feed them into the machine and it just starts tabulating. So they do plan to have that done, but what that won't do is capture all the ballots, and I'm sure that's what Mark is alluding to here. Won't capture all the ballots that are in the mail. If anybody waited to postmark something yesterday, it's not going to get here today. It just doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, in Portsmouth, a lot of our mail goes to Columbus before it gets here instead of going to our local. Well, it goes there, but it goes to Columbus and comes back. So you lose a day there. So there will be ballots that will not be counted tonight. There's no doubt about it. No different than any provisional ballot, say military ballot that comes in late. This happens all the time, but I have a feeling there's going to be a high number of ballots this time. So in the case of a race that is close, and I would even say a race that's within a couple hundred, it could have an impact on that election, depending on the overall count. I think that has a lot to do with it too. My understanding is that around 10,000 have requested ballots. That is actually lower than the 2016 primary number. I also understand that there's a lot that requested ballots that didn't get their ballots, and that is frustrating. So we urge anyone that falls into that category to please come to the Board of Elections today in person and talk to them. Please do that here in the Scioto County Courthouse. It's easy to get to them. They're on the first floor. Please do that. But hopefully there will be a reasonable assumption as to who won tonight. I mean, some races it's going to be easy. Well, if you're unchallenged, that's one thing. But if you are in a situation where it could be a close race, then we may not know for a while. And a matter of fact, the Board of Elections doesn't meet until, by law, they have to wait 10 days to certify the election. So let's hope that's not the situation. But one thing about it, we've learned through this whole process to be patient to a degree, and we hope, and we'll deal with it when the time comes. But I hope that helps answer the question.
Okay, we really need to go ahead and do Bill's investment report, and then probably get to Tammy, and then we can take more questions.
Yes,
after.
yes, let's
Okay.
do that. We have with us today Scioto County Treasurer Bill Aug, and this is our Investment Advisory Board report. And Bill, if you want to, we have a podium here because we are on Facebook, and we're trying to get everybody, have everybody included in this, and so they can hear what's going on. Bill, you want to explain the report, and then you may actually be asked a question as a result. Usually don't get this high honor to do this, but go ahead. Thank you.
This is a quarterly report. It's just the performance of our investments. County is allowed to have money invested if it's near cash, if it's money that we're not really using for other things at the moment. Right now, we have a little over $10 million in our investment fund. Our income for the first quarter was $57,035, up a little bit from the same quarter of last year. We're at about 2% yield on all of our investments right now. Since I do have kind of a public microphone now, I will tell everybody that these investments are all FDIC insured. So it's there, it's going to be there, it's insured, it's safe. I advise that we remain on the path that we're on now. Like I said, we've got the CDs that are our main investment, and then we have money in Star, Ohio, which is through the Treasurer of State's office. And yeah, in these worrying times of money, we're fine at this part. And I just encourage everyone to stay the course.
Looks good, Bill. Looks good. Is there any questions from the press or anybody?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, Bill, if you wouldn't mind, just stay for just a second. Okay,
Okay,
I'll
so
make a motion, we accept the investment report.
I would second.
Mr. Crabtree,
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye. We also have on the agenda, we're going to be opening bids for the Job and Family Services prepaid gas card, but we have to wait till 10:30 to do that. So do we have any more questions, Brian, at this time? Do we have more questions at this time?
I did just get one.
Okay.
Sorry.
Nothing for our EMA Deputy Director. You're going to get off. Yeah, it is a good sign, yes.
I'm not used to doing this many different things at once. Rose Mallory, will property taxes be delayed due to the COVID-19 virus?
No.
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 Got the answer straight from the man.
Due date is July the 20th.
July the 20th. Okay. That was handy that you were here.
Yeah.
Anything else? Yeah, we found one.
I think this is the only other question we missed.
Okay.
Can Mr. Palmer arrange for dumpsters for voluntary large item disposal, work release, and road cleanup has been suspended? Can the county offer an option for relief? That's Mark Cushback.
What did he say, Commissioner Palmer?
Uh,
Dan Palmer?
Paul, yeah, Dan Palmer.
Oh, okay. Okay, over the solid waste district. The recycled dumpsters haven't been removed. We haven't removed those.
I think he's asking mainly for large item disposal.
Well, we usually have cleanups, township cleanups, the city does it as well. I think those are being delayed probably about a month, if I had to guess. I know, I just saw where Union Township just delayed theirs. We do that every spring and summer. The townships take their turns doing them for large items. They put the dumpsters out, usually at the senior centers or the fire departments or someplace like that. Each township has their own thing. And they work with the solid waste district to do that. I fully expect that to happen again this year, but it's just been delayed. That is a service that, as part of the solid waste district, they work with the townships to do that, and that is a service as part of the parcel fee that people pay for. But it's just been delayed right now. It's because of the COVID. We can't get star workers out. We can't use work release. They're all, they're in lockdown right now in their facilities. So not canceled, I would call it postponed. And as soon as we can, we'll work with the entities. So in other words, I don't think it's something where the county has to step in to do it. It will be done. It just is being delayed right now. So hopefully, I know a lot of people like to do spring house cleaning and get rid of their stuff, and I understand that. I've been doing some of that myself, but we're just in a situation. Now, on large items, also, people still have the option to use the city's transfer station. There's a charge. You can bring a whole truckload down there, and you can get rid of large items there as well. So if anybody has any questions about the transfer station, I don't think city building's not open, is it, right now?
I'm not sure about that.
Okay. Call the service department, Portsmouth City Service Department. You can take large items down there, and they will take those off your hands. That's available as well. I think it's maybe one of the best kept secrets in Scioto County that you have that option. People can take, you have to pay for that, but you can take items there if you have a situation where you need to get rid of something right now. Anything else? Okay, all righty. You know what? That would be great. I really appreciate that. I really do. We are blessed to have with us our Job and Family Services Director, Tammy Morton, and she is with us today. And there's several things going on in your department, and you have really been busy. Tammy has, of course, being responsible for Job and Family Services, has had a very hectic, busy schedule the last 40 days. And go right ahead, give us an update on those things, and then eventually we'll do the gas card thing here.
Well, one of the programs that we are offering right now is a COVID PRC program. This is temporary assistance. We put it out, we put this notice out on Facebook, social media. We've been on WSAZ, we've been on WNXT, we've been in the newspaper, trying to get the word out. And I'll briefly go through what this program is about. It is a temporary one-time payment of $300 for folks who have been affected by COVID in the employment arena. If you have lost a job or had a reduction or loss of hours as a result of the pandemic. And if you meet all 5 of these criteria, you would be eligible to apply for this one-time $300 payment. You must be a Scioto County resident. Your household or family must contain a minor child. You must have at least one adult in your family that has either had a loss or reduction of employment on or after March 9th. The household or family current income must be below the 200% federal poverty level for the assistance group size that you have. And the household or family must not owe any fraudulent TANF assistance or be under a current work activity sanction. If you meet all 5 of those criteria, you can call 740-353-2218 and select option 4 to apply for this one-time $300 fee. We've got dedicated caseworkers waiting for those calls. We had a huge surge in the beginning with tremendous long wait times. That died off fairly quickly. We had another resurgence after the WSAZ newscast, which was fabulous. We're dwindling again. So we have set the deadline to apply for this Thursday, April 30th at close of business. So anyone who may be eligible, and if you're not sure, go ahead and call. We can let you know immediately. It's about a 10 to 15 minute interview with our caseworkers. You'll know immediately if you are eligible or not. Go ahead and give us a call. Again, that's 740-353-2218, option 4, and that is the only way to apply.
Yeah.
in order to get as many people served. So again, that deadline is Thursday, April 30th for this special PRC program. Now, what I would love to report is that so far we have served 565 families in Scioto County, totaling $169,500.
Good deal.
I am so proud of that. Our staff has done a tremendous job. The payments are getting out within 7 to 10 days, so it's, fairly quick turnaround for government. And we're thrilled that we're able to help that many. So that deadline again is Thursday, 30th at close of business. So if you think you might be eligible, give us a call and we can tell you.
Great. Thank you so much for that. And there is funding still available, so people need to get. You say, well, it's only quickly, and you may say, well, it's only $300. $300 is a grocery, a couple rounds of groceries, and maybe pay an electric bill or something like that. You can. There's no limit as to what they can use it for, right?
There's no
Okay.
stipulations.
All right.
Our assumption would be basic living necessities
Sure.
and things, but there are no restrictions on it.
Okay, so if you're out there and you meet those criteria, or you're not sure if you meet those criteria, call. Someone will help you through that process. Very good. Okay. All right. Are there any questions for our EMA Deputy Director or our Treasurer?
Nothing else to come up.
Nothing right now. Okay. Well, Larry, thank you so much. Bill, thank you so much for coming today. I know this is a little bit different than how we usually do things, but it's been good too, and it's been good. We've had a lot of questions from our public, and thank you so much for coming. Appreciate it. Thanks. Thanks. Well, I think we're going to have a little bit of a lull here, maybe about 10 minutes before we can do the bid opening. Are there any other questions at all? Okay. All right. We'll just wait. A couple things on the agenda. The ODNR agreement with the Marine Patrol for the sheriff. That's something we always share the cost on, to always have the Marine Patrol out on the river. So that's always a good thing. We did reappoint Reverend Tim Throckmorton to the Star Facility Governing Board. That's item 13. Tim has served many years on that board, and he served admirably, and we were very honored that he would choose to serve another term on that board, so we're very glad about that. The county engineer on item 9 has put in a slew. That's a Southern Ohio term, slew. That's a lot of advertisement notice to bidders for a range of items, which include the hot mix materials for the year, Washington Boulevard water line replacement, Giant Oaks Mill Road elevation adjustment project, and the UV lamp replacement. If you have any questions in regards to any of these, please get a hold of Scioto County Engineer Darren LeBrun. And the last item was item 7, the letter of support for Pure Cycle Technologies and the RTI International bid. That is a letter of support from the commissioners in their attempts to get a grant that will further a plastics industry in Southern Ohio. This is actually a big deal, and we'll be able to get grant money to promote and push a plastics industry beyond just one plant, being Pure Cycle, being a recycle company, but also companies that would utilize Pure Cycle's products of recycled polypropylene. So let's hope that they're successful in getting that grant. All right. Do we want to recess, or do we want to?
Whatever you want to do.
Huh?
We got 8 minutes, so
8 minutes?
yeah.
Okay.
We can
All right.
recess if you want to. I can get him his payroll that way.
Huh?
Let's recess so I can get
Okay.
fill
Can
his
we get a
payroll.
motion to recess for now, and we'll come back in 8 minutes?
So moved.
I'll second.
Mr. Crabtree,
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye. reconvene. I'll second the motion to reconvene.
Mr. Crabtree,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye. Okay, we're here to talk about the bids for Job and Family Services prepaid gasoline cards. I'll just read this. Is that okay with you? Okay. Vendor chosen must be able to provide gasoline services for recipients of the Prevention, Retention, and Contingency Fund, food assistance, employment, and training, pregnancy-related and non-emergency transportation services in Scioto County. Bids for supplying up to $250,000 worth of gasoline for these programs from May 1st, 2020 to April 30th, 2021. The contract shall have The contract shall have an option to be extended for 2 one-year extensions. Each additional contract amount will not exceed $250,000 per year. Bids are for the purchase of prepaid gasoline cards in the denominations of $5, $10, $15, $20, $25, or $50. Cards must be limited to fuel purchases only. Bidder must be able to determine any cash balance left on cards in order that these balances be returned to the Scioto County Department of Job and Family Services and shall provide a brief description of billing and accounting procedures. Bids are requested for cards that do not require the purchaser to pay a service charge. Bid proposals must be placed in a sealed envelope. It gives the address, tells exactly how to do it for the time and date of the opening, and those must have been delivered by April 28th, at which time the bids will be opened, publicly read and open. Okay. Of course, that was advertised for bid on April 3rd. Okay.
all right, we've only got one bid, and that's from Speedway.
Can you hear her, Mike? Okay.
It lists the various locations where the cards can be used. And what do you need to know from this precisely? Do you want to?
As long as they've met the
Okay.
criteria bids, which should be the
Says
nomination.
there- Yeah, it says describe your company. The Speedway is the company, a convenience store. The cards available, fuel cards come in denominations of $5 to $999. Discount available, yes, a 3% discount for orders over 500. Can the cards be restricted to allow fuel purchases only? Yes. Can cards be received as inactive or activated later? Yes. Once activated, is there a limit for usage for prepaid fuel cards? There is no time limit on active fuel cards. They will not expire. Do you charge a delivery or shipping fee? If yes, what is the fee? The standard shipping fee is free. Overnight shipping, there is a cost of $6 per 100 cards. At a minimum, provide a list of locations within Scioto counties where the cards can be used, and that was the list. There's
3 locations?
There are 2 locations in Scioto, one in Pike. There's 1, 2, 3. There's like 7 in Lawrence County, 2 in Jackson, 1 in Adams.
So it's Lucasville and Portsmouth?
Yeah, 2401 Gallia Street and in Portsmouth, and then on US 23 in Lucasville.
Okay.
And
Motion to accept the bids and refer those to the Director of Job and Family Services.
I would second that motion.
okay, Mr. Crabtree,
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
Get you
Any
a
other
copy of
questions?
this.
Oh, good. All righty. Tammy, thank you. Mike,
Motion
you-
to adjourn.
Okay, I'll second that motion to adjourn.
Mr. Crabtree,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.